One of the funguses we have units for called Entomosporium leaf spot. Two of the plants that we have in our general area we'll typically see this on a lot is Photinia or red tip and Indian hawthorn. We don't see a whole lot of red tips around anymore, but they're still around and they are still getting infected. Here we have a Photinia, and I want to show you what those damage symptoms look like. That's some old leaf spot right here that's already developed, but this is what it looks like on newer foliage. So we have some that is just starting, as you can see right here. Right here we have one that's called coalescing out. It's growing larger, and here pretty soon you'll see that typical little white or tan center that fungi are known for on foliage. Right here we have one that's grown a little bit larger. That is Entomosporium leaf spot. Now the downside with this particular plant and Indian hawthorn in general, it's really sight. I've mentioned before to some people, but maybe not everything, I'd like to, there's a concept called the disease triangle. You have your pathogen, your host, and site. So you have your host in this situation, which is the Photinia. You have your pathogen, which is the Entomosporium, and you have your site, which is a shady location, large trees, foundation. So unless you remove that plant from that site, you're still going to have the pathogen present, because what we know as for fungus is you need moist, wet in other words, and cool temperatures, which has already happened this spring. So how that relates to site is it doesn't dry out quickly. You have those spores, moisture sitting on the leaf foliage, so it's just going to keep developing. Now if you had a plant that was in a sunnier spot, you probably won't have nearly the issue, but you can prescribe treatments. If that plant's not taken out of that site condition, it's going to most likely continue to have that repetitive cycle of infection. But treatment method would be propiconazole right at leaf emergence, which as soon as that leaf reaches about pinky nail size is when you want to start applying the fungicides. Same typical sequential treatments would be beginning, 2 weeks later, and then 2 weeks following that. Right now we still are experiencing cool, wet conditions in the area, so this plant will probably have a little bit of issues. The way the plant reacts to this fungus is it will drop its foliage, and the lower portion, as you see, remains bare, but that tip top where it can dry out quicker doesn't have near the issue, and that was Entomosporium leaf spot.